Be warned, all servants of the Scarlet Sign.
Be warned, all servants of the Scarlet Sign.
And be upon your guard.
And be upon your guard
against the greatest peril of our reign. The doom of our inheritance.
The doom of our inheritance.
The desolation of our glory. The destruction of our destiny.
The destruction of our destiny.
For if your strength should
If
fail,
your strength should fail,
there shall no longer be
there shall no longer be
an Orth,
over which to rule.
And men shall neither quail nor marvel at the noble warriors of the Suel. Mark these signs. If you love our blood, when the brass ox dies, on the red
the stalker
shall return. When the false card is played, the princess shall turn her face. When the fiery phoenix arises, the seal of silver shall open.
In the city of Greyhawk, 5 individuals are united by circumstance. A brewer priest, a haunted swordsman, a living relic, a caustic criminal, and a golem without a past. With the drawing of a single card, their lives have been turned upside down. Welcome to The Chimera, a role-playing adventure podcast. Our campaign this season is called Misplaced. It takes place in the venerable setting of Greyhawk, kind of, and we're playing with a modified version of 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Vin LeBate, and I play Golden Hydrakashi, a Dragonborn rogue. Joining me today are...
I'm Braden Lamb, and I'm playing Balmo, a halfling cleric.
I'm Jeffrey Bard, and I play Sir Simeon, the human sword mage.
I'm Josh Hallbachner, and I play Ashlar, a warforged sorcerer.
I'm Kacey Smith, and I play Latchkey, a shardmind with the dual classes of Battlemind and Scion.
And I'm Kelly Weissman Asbruth Jackson, the Dungeon Master.
Now, let's get started.
The room that you go to when you go down the stairs in the reactor chamber room, instead of going up the elevator, it's a subway station. That's what it looks like on the inside. There's like a, kind of a cavernous space. And then at one far wall, there's an opening into basically a tube with a long metal rail that crackles with lightning in it. And there's a map on the wall that seems to suggest the different points on some sort of a rail system.
Okay, that makes less sense than the rest of the sense of this made. Hold on. Tangent. Let me see if I understand how to do this. Princess. Where is the thief?
The thief is located underground on the western side of the main island.
Oh.
Princess, are all of the other cubes located within this island chain?
Does Latchkey use the word cube?
Yes.
There are no other cubes.
Are there other cards?
There are other locations in the Chimera project.
Princess, are all of those other locations within this island chain?
All of the locations of the Chimera project are within the main island and its associated islands and the waters surrounding.
Princess, are any of the other locations of the Chimera project located near the House of Black Lanterns?
I do not know what the House of Black Lanterns is.
That's fair. Princess, are any of the location thingies on the western shore of the island?
The closest locations to the western shore of the main island are the Thief, the Druid, and the Archmage.
Princess, do you have a map?
I can make a map available to you in the... Goodness, what did I call it?
Something gallery?
It was called the gallery. Yes, the Specimens Gallery, I think it was called. No, not Specimens. Anyway, the gallery. There's a room with all those those basically projection screens.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go there, the princess can display a map there.
Yeah, let's go there.
Okay. So that entails going back down the elevator, going to the reactor chamber room, and then going through the 9 o'clock door into a room where the lights are lower than, and there are a whole bunch of different pillars and sort of short walls within the same sort of large vaulted space as most of the other rooms have been. And all of those walls and pillars have two-dimensional, but completely otherwise completely indistinguishable from real-life images, moving images of various monsters and animals doing various things. It's definitely a pretty odd and disorienting space in a forest of odd and disorienting spaces that Rikashi is in.
Mm.
Kelly, did we go through the transportation chamber to get to the gallery?
You go through the reactor chamber.
Okay.
Or that is the fastest way there. You can always go, because of the way these rooms line up, you can always go through almost any of them to get to any other one. But the fastest way is to just go through the reactor chamber.
Okay.
So on one of the walls, the current moving image of, I'm going to say, some Snow White owl bears is replaced by a non-moving image of the Isle of Dread. I have given you in the Slack before that sort of hand-drawn looking map. I will give you a different one in a second. I'm just deciding which one is most appropriate to give you. Rikashi, did you specify anything you wanted on this map? You just said a map, right?
Yeah, if it doesn't have the stations on it, then I will request a map with the stations.
Map with the stations. Okay. There you go. They're noted by number, but remember that the number is, and it actually includes the map of the rail system, no additional cost.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that the number is a known quantity. So 2 is the fool, 3 is the princess, 4 is the priest, 5 is the druid, 6 is the thief, 7 is the dragon slayer, and 8 is the archmage.
So there's 6 stations.
7.
7? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see. 7, yes. And then there's this little spur off to Emerald Isle that is something that doesn't have a station marker.
The terminus of that spur has no marking on it. That's right.
Okay, and this lines up with a shape that we saw somewhere before.
In the
map in
the map in the subway, basically.
Mm.
Roughly, the map in the subway, it's the difference between if I show you a map of Boston with the subway line, with the MBTA lines on it, that's different than if I show you the MBTA's subway map, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly that level of difference in detail.
But it's reasonable for us then to draw to make that connection.
Yeah, especially because there's numbers marking the stations on the subway map. So yes, it's pretty clear.
Princess, what methods of transport between the stations are functional?
There are transportation platforms in each of the stations, and there's access to the lightning rail network in each station.
Do the transport platforms work?
All of the transport platforms connected to the Princess are currently functioning. Some pose problems.
Princess, what constitutes a problem?
The use of some of the transportation platforms connected to the Princess may be hazardous for living things.
Cool.
Great, so you guys can go.
Time to break out the paragrenaders, I guess.
So there are 14 human cards, right?
Yes, 14 mortal cards. Unique mortal cards.
But each one has 2 of them share a number.
Each. So there are 7 total. There's 7 possible numerical values for a mortal card. 2 different meanings for each number, and then 2 versions of each of those meanings.
The fair and the foul.
So the fair and the foul are the 2 different meanings, and then the left hand and right hand, or the east and west, are the versions.
So which station is Station 7?
Station 7 is the thief.
What's the counterpoint to the thief?
Oh, the foul version of the thief is the queen.
Okay, so I need to work this out again, okay? So we established that there's the Dracolich.
Yep.
And the Chimera. Are the foul cards associated with the Dracolich?
I don't think you've interrogated that question.
I mean in the game.
Oh.
Like in the game of...
In the game, as you understand it,
yes.
The Dracolich is a unique card, and therefore not associated with fair or foul in any way. It's off by itself.
Can we tell by the cards we have which one is fair and which one is foul between the Dracolich and the Chimera?
That would be a matter that would vary from deck to deck, right? Whether or not there was a visual indication, this is a fair card, this is a foul card.
Does Martha know? Because she knows how to play the game, and she says that this is how the deck is standard for her.
That's true. So let's talk to Demertha about the cards. So Demertha's answer would be, there are the fair and foul mortal cards, and there are the good and evil dragon cards. And the Chimera is associated with the good dragon cards, and the Dracolich is associated with the evil dragon cards. And you could make an association between the fair and foul mortals as well, but that's not inherent. I mean, that's not the way the game works. So.
Okay. And so we have 14 members of the Chimera Project.
Yes.
Do they correspond to both sets of mortals?
They correspond to both sets of mortals. What do you mean?
Okay, because we have this whole mapping to the card game, right?
Yep.
There's 7 stations. This station is named the Princess, which is a fair mortal.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And that corresponds to Callista. We've got the picture of her.
Absolutely.
Is the foul mortal with the number, is this 3?
3.
4.
4.
Is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have messed up. What did I mess up? Oh, I'm sorry. I messed up the number value. I apologize. It's 3 through 9, not 2 through 8. That's just me looking at the wrong thing in my records. I apologize. But
okay, so bump all these up by 1?
Bump all these up by 1, but the 7 is still the thief.
Down by 1. Yeah.
The numbers on the map are correct.
Sorry, you said Yolande was the queen, right?
Yolande is the queen. That is correct.
So she's foul.
She should be foul by the queen is part of the foul set, yes.
And corresponds to the thief, you just said.
Yeah, so the thief is the fair 7 and the queen is the foul 7.
So it's fair for us to determine or to extrapolate that there are 7 stations of the Chimera Project.
Mm-hmm.
The names of those line up with the fair mortals. And the 14 members line up with the fair and foul mortals.
I think that's that's a reasonable set of conclusions.
Do the dragon cards show people, or do they show dragons, typically?
You mean the other cards that are dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah, they show dragons because they're dragon cards. Okay. It's like the black dragon is a black dragon, the gold dragon is a gold dragon.
Okay. I'm just making sure I've got the symbology
it's cool.
down here. Okay, and so that suggests, given the mention that we had of the Dracolich from either the Princess or I Am earlier, that there might be a different, independent set of stations somewhere that correspond to the other 7.
Yes.
Either that or the same number is... Both stations are somehow in the same place, if not in the same time, or, there's strangeness afoot.
Mm-hmm.
Princess.
Right. So the princess, I just want to give this answer, Vin, and then I'll take your question. The princess, I apologize again for getting the numbers off a second ago, her value is 4. The equivalent in the foul set is the spy, which would be connected to Zarian then. Because you did get a list at one point of like the titles.
Yep.
And there's been no evidence of Zarian in this space, right? So if this station were serving double purposes as connected to both characters, there's only evidence of Callista here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, looking at this map, 7 or 3 is the closest to where the House of Black Lanterns is, although neither of them is close at all.
But they're all easier to travel than from here to Far Shore, which involves water.
Specifically, I want to be clear, that marking is not where the House of Black Lanterns will be. It's where the tower will be, and from there you can get to the House of Black Lanterns.
Right.
Okay.
But that's where we're supposed to go. So
Yes.
in terms of getting to the place that we're supposed to go, if we take that pathway. Now, where's Far Shore?
Far Shore is on the tiny little island in the middle of the kind of ring of islands at the southeast corner of the map.
It's in the middle of that crater.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, so that's actually very close to us.
In terms of just distance, yes, but again, water has been noted. Vin, you were about to ask the princess a question, I think.
Princess, where is the spy?
The spy is part of the Draco Lich.
Princess, where's the Draco Lich?
I love when we break Kelly.
No, it's I have all this information, but I don't necessarily have it in the form that the princess knows it. So I have to think about, how does the princess understand the answer to this question? What will the princess say?
Mm-hmm.
The Draco Lich is above Orth.
Whoa.
Princess, what is the Draco Lich?
The Draco Lich is a set of 7 stations.
Okay.
Princess, how are the Draculish and the Chimera connected?
The Draco Lich was created by members of the Chimera Project as an expansion of the program.
Princess, what was its purpose?
It had many purposes, but of primary concern was studying the object on which the Draco Lich was built.
And that is presumably where they got Obliviax. Did we establish previously that the foundry or I think something came up about where IM was manufactured?
Mm-hmm.
IM was manufactured locally, but IM said that
My model?
Type 4 humanoid effigies, that basically relic folk come from the Draco Lich.
Damn, I'm from outer space. What a twist.
Okay, one more. Princess, is the thief safe for living beings?
Something has gone very wrong at the thief.
Of course it has.
Princess, which of the Chimera Project stations are unsafe for living beings?
Something has gone wrong at the fool. Something has gone wrong at the princess. The transportation platform at the priest is obstructed. Something has gone wrong at the druid. Something has gone very wrong at the thief. The transportation platform at the dragon slayer is obstructed. There is no notice for the archmage.
And which number is the Archmage again?
9.
I feel like Callista also said that's where they made their last stand.
She did.
Yeah.
Yes. And note, that list included the princess, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
Right.
whatever is going, like whatever something has gone wrong means, well, the princess is in the same category as everything else. So it's been this amount of survivable at the princess.
Certainly the princess theoretically has the potential to explode based on the information we have. So that could be something that's gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in the next day to 1,000 years.
Yes. It hasn't been a cycle yet.
She said the thief was underground.
Right.
I want to make sure that I don't accidentally breeze past this. Everywhere else says something has gone wrong. But the thief says something has gone very wrong.
Very wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to loop back around to that.
Princess, can you show us the other stations?
I do not have access to that information.
Yeah, the interiors of the different stations seem to be pretty cordoned off to their respective owners.
Yeah, what you've seen so far is that the princess knows a lot about the princess and has information about other things, but not like the same level of information.
Right. We also don't know that we can get any of the other stations to do anything for us, because the princess is responding to us
because it thinks you're Orgnenshin.
Well, let's ask. Princess, would you respond to my queries if Orgnenshin was not present?
Yes.
Would you do things for me if Orgnenshin was not present?
I would do things which you had the permission to request.
What do I have the permission to request?
Any information or assistance that is not dangerous to the princess and is not contrary to specific instructions from Callista.
That could be... Okay. All right. This is a challenging situation.
Yeah, where do we want to go?
Well, we want to go to the place that Callista went to, right?
Okay. Backing up a few steps. Rikashi, you said that we are going to be responsible for the end of the world.
That's what I have been told by a reputable chef.
Did he give you a time frame?
And by whose design?
So in terms of time frame, his initial instructions were to go to the House of Black Lanterns, and then when he saw the cube spinning, that immediately changed the situation. So that probably tells us something about the time frame. And as for who was that, did we discover something about Rudamara, or am I making that up?
My recollection, Vin, and it's not 100%, is that you did discuss Rudamara, just like that's a really bad thing. Like that's sort of the so there might be an implication that Rudamara is somehow involved, but I don't think you got that deep into it.
Okay.
And is the idea that just by us being here that this will happen, or that we're going to do something that will make it happen, or is this all connected to the obelisk?
So it was a problem before he knew about the obelisk. Prior to that, the fact that we were all brought here was a big problem. And then the addition of the obelisk made it a bigger problem. And then the addition of the fact that y'all started this cube spinning moved it up another step.
Isn't Torek here with you?
Because drow are assholes.
Did he go to do something in particular?
He went off to report back and essentially not tell them that we were here while simultaneously telling them there was a problem. Because...
The drow.
Yes. Because his people, who apparently hang out here to watch for the end of the world, would probably try to do something to stop it, but our being involved would probably go badly for us, vis-a-vis interactions with the drow.
One thing I want to highlight, it's okay if you're intentionally not sharing this, or both to keep the information or just because it's a level of detail Rikashi wouldn't go into, but just to address Latchkey's question more directly. Tolric definitely didn't give you clear and direct, like, here's who might be planning the end of the world. But he did say his job essentially is to make sure that the world doesn't end except when Lolth wants it to end.
Right.
So what you can be confident about is that if he's worried about the end of the world, it's because this is not according to Lolth's plan.
Okay, so we ruled out one of all of the possible beings in the universe that could want to end the world.
Well, considering that Lolth is the goddess of doom and is basically the goddess of the end of the world in some sense, it is noteworthy if somebody else is doing it.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Jeff is back.
Yes, I am.
So, Jeff, while you were away, we went through the list of Chimera Project members and established that we between the characters, we know something about almost all of them and have a sense that they are spread across time. And so far haven't found any exceptions to the idea that they're not people who had a specific end. Some of them explicitly disappeared. Some of them just like there's no further records after a point. But there's not anybody we've found on the list so far who like explicitly died on a particular date and was buried and has a marked grave and that kind of thing.
Right.
And there were two characters that I thought they made the most sense for your character to know about.
Okay.
And that was one, Stephen the Rock. Stephen the Rock was the court jester in the court of Ivid the Undying, who was the last emperor of the great kingdom of Eridy before it split apart into two different conflicting kingdoms several years ago. And you wouldn't have met him because you haven't been in the field that long, but like he was a pretty famous court jester as these things go. And basically jokes by or about him are still in circulation. Okay. Especially in the eastern section of the Flanaes. It's like Johnny Carson, right? Like, Did you meet Johnny Carson? No. Have you heard a joke by or about Johnny Carson? Absolutely. So that's Stephen the Rock and Yolandi of Selene. Selene is the Elven kingdom, or sorry, the Elven? Yes, it is Elven. Elven kingdom to the southwest of the city of Greyhawk. Yolandi is the queen there. You were once arrested in Selene and expelled because they're very, very xenophobic there. You never had a chance to meet Yolandi, but you did see there's like a portrait of her in the equivalent of the police station where you were held until you were kicked out of the forest. Okay. So you're familiar that Yolandi is the current queen of the nation of Selene.
Huh. Current queen, but also a member. But that totally makes sense. She could be a member in the future.
Mm-hmm. So now we have to figure out where to go next.
So for some reason, there's something in my brain that tells me that we wanted to go to one of these teleporters specifically and check out what was going on, but I don't remember why or which one it was.
So there are a couple of things. The priest is one of the locations.
I think the priest was what I was thinking of.
We've established that there might be reason to go to the priest because of its association with the character of Father Balmo. Mm-hmm. The Archmage has been mentioned by Callista as the place where they were going to make their last stand after whatever happened. The thief is of interest to Rikashi for pretty obvious reasons. I can't think of a special reason why anybody has to be drawn to the Dragon Slayer, the Fool, or the Druid, but those are all other possible places to go to. And you also have those three platforms that are not things marked on the map and are not explicit locations, right? The Star Harbor, the Pyramid, and the Needle.
I will say that Rikashi's interest in the thief is very much geographical. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it is pretty clearly the closest location, at least that's land-based to where that tower would be.
Yeah. I have more confidence in that than Farshore.
3 isn't closer?
It's a little bit of a toss-up.
We don't want to cross the middle of the continent.
Why is that?
Cryptic warnings from a chef.
Oh, I want to be clear, Vin, from looking at it's maybe not dead obvious because I haven't given you a ton of time to study these materials. But that warning is about the Central Mesa, which is in the northern middle of the island. It's all north of both Station 7 and Station 3. So there are good reasons why you might want to not cross the middle of the island, but that's not one of them.
Like the demons and the apes and the demon apes.
As noted on the map.
Yes. So that is what we'd have to cross through if we decided to go to Tower 6 from Station 3.
And can't get back for some reason in the cube and have to walk back, right?
Well, no, because we want to get to the area that is sort of directly south of Station 7. So It's all
So you feel that we should follow Darben Torik's advice and leave as quickly as possible.
yes.
Are we? Yeah, we do not agree with that.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff to figure out.
I'm not opposed to the idea of departing. This is a rather strange and apparently quite dangerous place. And that does pose some risks and challenges for us, certainly. But without more information, and especially identifying more about the obelisk, I'm not inclined to try to hoof it across large portions of the large island with that in tow, hoping to get to a spot that maybe theoretically has a way for us to get out, unless something else happens, which is about the picture of what we have from this set of suggestions.
And I'm not ready to leave this island until I get a few more answers about this priest. I've got a feeling that the tankard of St. Wenta might still be here.
I'm not ready to let you leave this island until you get those answers too.
Okay. Did you all miss the end of the world part?
Well, again, the end of the world has to do with the obelisk, and the obelisk is with us. So I think we're good.
It also has to do with us.
So here's the thing. Unless somebody can give us more information about what involving us will bring about the end of the world, I'm not confident about any given path of action ameliorating. What if it's just that somebody is going to grab us and toss us all into a volcano?
And maybe they just want the obelisk, right? So they're trying to get the obelisk out in the open so that they can go and grab it.
What if our departure causes the end of the world?
Like, we have very little information about what's going on at any part of the site.
We do know, though, and I knock on the like metal of the floor, that we're pretty good in here.
It's like 30, 40 miles, it looks like. Oh, no, it's more. It's like 70 miles from Station 7 to where Tower 6 would be.
As the crow flies, I want to also highlight that because the map you have now shows elevation somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even like flat out. It's like over. You got to go through mountains, a good section of that.
So it's probably 100 miles through mountains, fording a river, through a series of what look to be dense forests.
Okay.
So I'm not...
Give me a better plan.
We hang out here. We find out more information, right? There's how many other cubes and how many more resources up here? I mean, this crossbow thing looks pretty rad. We'll find out how it works.
So my proposal is as follows. I would like for us, as long as we're here, and we may wind up leaving at any moment, as long as we're here, I would like to establish us a foothold so that we have at least some ability to have a place to put things, to return to, and some access to the resources that the Chimera Project provides, like the knowledge of the princess. To me, this station is the place for that, since we already know that we can gain access to it and that we have a certain amount of control and power here and certain things that we can get at. The only thing that really seems to stand as an obstacle to us in maintaining control of this space is the set of Scarlet Brotherhood
currently camped below us, and they know we went in here.
They know we went in here, and it seems like they are very strongly inclined to find a way in or to wreck the place trying.
Then perhaps his first order of business should be dealing with them.
We also promised IM we'd help him out. I don't think we should forget that.
We gave our word.
And all of these things...
I'm sorry, what are you helping the thing with?
Oh, yes. There's some form of reactor in the Princess, which has the potential for explosive annihilation if not repaired in some fashion.
And we told him that we'd repair it, or at least help him.
For all we know, not repairing that is what leads to the end of the world.
I am.
Yes.
Could that happen if the reactor blew?
If the reactor explodes, the greatest risk is that the princess will unfold.
I'm sorry, define unfold?
re-expand to its original size in conventional space.
Is that bad?
It would be dangerous for anyone or anything in the immediate vicinity of the princess.
Okay, so not that bad.
I mean, if we weren't in the vicinity, I think that would be a good idea.
Scarlet Brotherhood is in the vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Really fond of the princess, though.
Don't get weird, Sir Simeon.
If the princess unfolded, could it be folded back again?
It was folded once. It does not seem impossible. It could be refolded again.
Would it be something we could accomplish?
I do not know the extent of your capabilities.
What capabilities would we need?
I did not exist when the princess was originally folded to begin with. I am not sure.
If the princess were unfolded, would we still be able to access the other stations, the Needle, the Star Harbor, and the third one, which I can't remember its name?
The pyramid?
The pyramid.
The pyramid?
If the reactor explodes or ceases to function, the princess will unfold, and all of the faculties of the princess will cease to function.
Sorry, where are those other places?
Then I think you mean the pyramid, the Needle, and the Star Harbor. You're still in the room with the map, right?
Yeah.
So IM can go up to the map and point to each thing because it knows the locations. The pyramid is in the extreme northeast corner of the central island, the interior, on that peninsula there. That's the pyramid. The Star Harbor is in the center of the central mesa, and the Needle is on the large western island, which is marked as Griff Isle on your map, sort of, kind of in the middle of it.
That is where we are not supposed to take the obelisk.
That does match with Darbin's notes, yes.
Yeah, those are all places that we're not really supposed to go based on the information we have.
Yeah.
The peninsula thing, the first one where the pyramid is, I don't think you have any particular information about that location.
I would point out that on our original map, that space has a Tyrannosaurus on it.
Fair enough.
And not like a cute one, like a real spiky one. So that's a lot of bad options.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of the rail links were obstructed. Were those in the way of us getting to the thief?
I think they said the teleportation, not the...
Yes, basically there's an obstruction at certain of the platforms.
Oh, those platforms.
The only thing we know about the thief is something has gone very wrong there.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I mean, what's to stop us from just getting on a teleport pad and then coming back? We can just do some really quick reconnaissance without overcommitting ourselves.
Or this may be the part I'm understanding the least. We could get on some kind of cart and just ride between them?
Or something.
Yeah, that's what I was proposing.
I feel like teleportation is so much faster. And safer?
I'm not sure about safer.
That's debatable.
Questionable.
I don't know. I do it all the time.
Well, several of the pads were obstructed.
That's true.
That is correct. The priest and the Dragon Slayer.
I do not frequently teleport, but I don't think I'd want to suddenly be someplace that's obstructed.
The priest and the what?
The priest and the Dragon Slayer are the ones that are listed as having obstructed platforms.
Dragon Slayer. Well, that's a disappointment. But we could still check out the Archmage and one of the other ones.
Or we could take the cart to the priest.
Mm-hmm.
We could take the cart to the priest.
It is literally the furthest away station.
So we'd see all the other ones on the way.
I mean, I can wait on the priest.
You will probably get there eventually.
I will. There's ample evidence that I will get there eventually.
So I still feel as if before we do anything else, we should clear out the infestation on the island below. And if possible, interrogate one of the humans, one of the human leadership from this camp. Because they have a purpose for being here.
So if we're going to do that, we need some kind of plan, because I don't think that we want to go running headfirst into these guys.
We do not.
I think the one we can probably handle once secured is the sorceress.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably the easiest to pin down, but the other two are going to be a problem. I don't remember if you were there when Yibdab was talking about the rat. Apparently he has a rat.
I don't like that.
Yeah. It is something that seems to make a lot of people uncomfortable.
I don't know if I agree with a sorceress being the easiest to restrain. They got magic, don't they?
Yeah, they all have a little bit of magic, I think. But a sorceress has to, and she makes like a wavy gesture and then like another wavy gesture.
Any arcane caster, there should be some level of stuff that we could do to prevent them from casting if we can restrain them in various ways. And we do have the potential. No?
I'm thinking about how Ash is an arcane caster and how easy or difficult it would be to restrain him from shooting fire.
Yeah, who are the other two?
There's the kid who is jumping up and punching the cube.
Mm-hmm.
He has goggles and jet black hair for some reason and some kind of a mark on his forehead. And there's the guy with all the crazy red hair and he's the guy who supposedly has a rat. In fact, you've seen the rat now because he conjured it as Rikashi was.
That's right.
Right.
Making a blitz for. So it is like a crazy demon rat monster thing that he rides like a knight on a horse.
As we probably mentioned, we can make monsters now.
Yeah.
That can be some help. I mean, maybe we can make some really big cats.
And then some dogs. And then some spiders.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of approaches, there's the slow drip monster strategy, where just as frequently as possible, we generate monsters and we dump them down onto the camp and force them to fight.
Just softening them.
Yeah, it seems unlikely that they could preserve much of the goblinoid forces if we kept doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like the last one gave them a pretty good challenge. It doesn't seem like it necessarily was a direct risk to the lives of the three commanders on its own, but it tore around and they weren't able to just instantly put it down. We could try to identify something that could let us make one big blitz of some kind, anything that we could use. Maybe we could rig something up out of some of those light jellyfish to use as a weapon that might be able to do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time.
Are you suggesting we nuke them?
We do have
Yes.
the rest of the people who are in the cages too.
Yes. Yeah, we do have several monsters that can be spoken to, actually. And then the third option is to try to put together some sort of stealth-based approach whereby we try to capture one of them and get them back in. That seems like that's unlikely because they have a whole suite of guards on the thing 24/7 now. Is that right?
They do, yes. Or they did the last time you were looking.
And a further option is to allow the cube to unfold and smush them.
And kill us all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel great about that choice.
Kill us all, and also we can't get to the other places.
Not via the transportation system anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So then, yeah, I think my proposal is we come up with an attack force utilizing the monsters we can talk to, the monsters we can build, and, if possible, magical energy weapons built out of those creepy light and dark jellyfish. We make an assault on their camp and then try to grab one of them in the chaos.
We think the less time they have to determine their capacities versus whatever we throw at them, more effective we probably will be.
Oh, hey, did we go through their notes again yet?
Mm-mm.
Is there anything useful in their notes? Let's take a look at their notes.
Yeah, so I said this way back many, many episodes ago when you first got them. Most of the stuff that Rikashi grabbed appears to be kind of sorcerer, wizard stuff, text, magical notation. So a bunch of it's written in Draconic. What isn't written in Draconic is mostly written in Sul. I think we still don't have anyone in the party who speaks Sul, but it's pretty straightforward for a couple of different members of the party to come up with a ritual to translate a text. If it's in code, maybe there's going to be a problem with it, but just like this language or that language, that's a very conventional thing for a magical ritual to do. So that's resolvable if you want to put in the time on trying to translate the Sul records into something that at least someone can read. Among them, as I said, it's magical notation, it's stuff for rituals, it's information about spells and experiments. There's more notes about the Isle of Dread. There's some stuff about Thanaclan again, which is this sort of semi-mythic or mythic or semi-mythic city of wonders of the Ulman culture that is associated with the Isle of Dread in some way. And there is a text. It is so the largest sort of piece of information that you have you have in the Sul notes that might actually be relevant is this single page of it's kind of like an illuminated manuscript, right? So it appears to be important, right? It's this big piece of parchment. It's got decoration and embellishment on it, so it looks meaningful and important. It's written in Sul again. And once translated, here's what it says. Be warned, all servants of the Scarlet Sign, and be upon your guard against the greatest peril to our reign, the doom of our inheritance, the desolation of our glory, the destruction of our destiny. For if your strength should fail, there shall no longer be an Orth over which to rule, and men shall neither quail nor marvel at the noble warriors of the Sul. Mark these signs, if you love our blood. When the brass ox dies, the stalker shall return. When the false card is played, the princess shall turn her face. When the fiery phoenix arises, the seal of silver shall open. When Zorthos raises his hand, the cerulean dragon shall fly to Selene. When the cup of Arathis is emptied, silence shall fall over the house of Demogorgon. When the blazing throne is shattered, the work of the Sphinx shall be ended. When the remnant of Eoscar awakens, the infernal machine shall explode. When the chimera raises its heads, the stars shall fall. When the statue grows hungry, the warp and the weft shall unravel. When the mirror cracks open, this world shall end. Watch for these warnings, all you who remain valorous and pure, and beware the hateful name, Rutamara.
See, we're good. There's still a lot of items on that list that haven't happened yet.
You mean that we have not done yet?
Yes! That means we have lots of time.
Sure thing, Phoenix.
Here's what I want to tell you about that. And the way I'm envisioning this translation working is that the ritual reads the text aloud for you and then does a simultaneous translation, but you can still hear the Sul in the background. So here are a couple of things. Sarsimian, you will notice that the word Larendenjo appears in this text.
Why did I miss that?
It appears in the text in Sul.
Oh, okay.
Translated, it doesn't appear.
Okay.
Does it correspond with something?
Stalker.
Oh, I thought that was me, but it was you.
The proper names are the same in Sul. So the proper names for divinities or semi-divinities. So Selene, Arathis, Demogorgon, those names don't change because divine and quasi-divine beings have their names are their names and they're real things. So their names have to be consistent from one language to the next. The word in Sul for chimera is Haramathurki.
Oh.
Because Haramathur, the lost god of order, was shaped like a chimera, sort of like the model for what chimera are. Is there anything else to point out? The words the names Eoskar and Zorthos call for religion checks.
Here we go.
Pass.
Okay. 22. Yeah, 22.
Okay. That's good enough. So there are a whole bunch of deities, and then there are a whole bunch of deities that were alive at the beginning of time and then got killed off in the Dawn War, the early conflict between the gods and the primordials. Haramathur is one of those gods that died. Two more of the gods that were killed in the Dawn War are Zorthos and Eoskar. Zorthos is... I want to make sure I get this title right. Just a second. Zorthos, the Unchanging, was the god of stasis and equilibrium. And Eoskar, the Rainbow Threshold, was literally the living gate.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh.
Literally.
And what was the line about them?
The line about... I'll send you the full text in the Slack. But quickly, since you asked, what it says about Zorthos... Why did I not capitalize Zorthos? Renathus? So Eoskar is, when the remnant of Eoskar awakens, the infernal machine shall explode. And when Zorthos raises his hand, the cerulean dragon shall fly to Selene. Selene, in addition to being this elven kingdom, is also the name for one of the moons.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like one thing in that list that I'm sure has already happened.
I counted like 4.
What were the other ones?
Just like the first several. I don't have it in front of me, but I was definitely checking it off and got through several before I was like, okay, I don't recognize that.
Yeah, the Cup of Arathis is likely the Tankard of St. Wenta.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether or not that's empty, or whether it will be empty when Old Man Balmo has his last stand with everybody.
Oh, great. This has the original and everything.
Oh, man, of course it is.
Yes, that's right. I have the entire thing written out in Sul, phonetic Sul. Just because that is how I roll.
Okay. So
Bravo.
when the brass ox dies.
That's where we started out.
You arrived on the brazen ox.
Right. Okay, right. That's right. The stalker shall return. That might be Larendanjo.
That's Larendanjo.
When the false card is played, the princess shall turn her head. That one
Yep.
is pretty clear.
We all know what that one is.
When the fiery phoenix arises, the seal of silver shall open. I suppose that could be Ashlar
Ash.
somehow.
Sure, Phoenix is me. Yeah.
When Zorthos raises his hand, the cerulean dragon shall fly to Selene. Not really sure.
You haven't done that yet.
We've
Right.
not seen anything that looks like a blue dragon yet, metaphorically or literally.
When the cup of Arathis is emptied, silence shall fall over the house of Demogorgon. Okay. When the blazing throne is shattered, the work of the Sphinx shall be ended. When the remnant of Eoskar awakens, that might be us.
Oh, there you go. That's you.
The infernal machines shall explode.
So that probably hasn't happened yet.
Probably not. At least not that we've noticed. When the chimera raises its heads, the star shall fall. Could that possibly be Obliviax?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Or it could just be this whole thing.
When the statue grows hungry, the warp and weft shall unravel. Nope. When the mirror cracks open, the world shall end. Don't know anything about either of those.
I know a little bit about mirrors. Not comfortable with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you notice that the mirrors in Callista's quarters are smashed? That's a thing. That's recurring. That's a problem.
Well, that's the first time I've ever seen it.
Not me.
Well, do tell, flashback.
Flashback to that episode that happened where that thing happened with the mirrors.
Okay. Well, we have a lot to work with here.
Wait, Rikashi, did you actually tell me the story with Org Engine in that party?
Yes. Let's just say that we just did that.
Okay, cool.
I don't think there are any parts of that I need to explicitly leave out.
I don't think any of this really changes the plan. It still seems like collecting one of the leaders of the Scarlet Brotherhood would be advisable for interrogation.
So, absent any other large avenues of investigation or other things that we haven't kind of dealt with here, it seems like probably the thing to do is, honestly, like, break around here, like, try to put some slightly finer lines on the plan and then come back and hash out the last details of it at the start of the next game.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a little time to kind of work that out, and we can kind of go over it on screen and then execute it.
Okay. So the plan is roughly confront the Scarlet Brotherhood using your wiles and the resources of the princess, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
Back when we freed the hippogriff,
Yes.
it said you will have the thanks of, and I don't remember the name.
Henutemmipet.
Henutemmipet. Okay.
Henutemmipet, the one who's not supposed to have the obelisk.
According to Darwin, yes. Don't give Henutemmipet the obelisk.
Okay.
Didn't somebody else say that? Or was it just Darwin?
Darwin and the hippogriff are the only two people who've brought up Henutemmipet.
I thought there was a third place where that name came up.
I swear I thought there was one too, but
Okay.
I could be wrong.
If two people think that...
Because y'all were talking about it in Slack, and I had no idea why.
Then I need to listen to some recent episodes then. Where else would it have come up?
Was it just that it was on the map?
Yeah, I think it's possible it was because we saw your map.
Right, because the map just got uploaded to the Slack, so...
But I don't know, because I kind of also remember that we were like... Someone was like, oh, should I know that name? And then... Yeah. I don't remember why.
Okay.
All right, we need a good means of wrapping.
So you were about to say something, Kelly?
No, I was just thinking about how Henutemmipet could have come up. All right, if we have agreed to this plan, then we will polish it a little bit more at the beginning of the next episode and enact it. Right? Good with that plan?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. And yeah, I like where this is headed. Good.
Cool.
Oh, wait, hang on. I've got a general question.
Yes,
I think
please.
I missed who Rudamara is.
Rudamara is a name that has come up a couple of different places. Vin, do you share what you know about it
Yes.
with the group? So specifically, do you want to provide the explanation? Go ahead.
I mean, the main thing is that it came up in that incident with the mirrors, where the jackass who triggered the incident with the mirrors with his dying breath said, "For Rutamara," and then died. And then Darbin also...
For Ru tomorrow is what I thought he said.
and then Darbin was also familiar with it, but did not, as far as I can remember, give me a lot of information.
I don't think Darwin really provided a lot, other than it's bad.
Yeah.
Trying to think if I should.
Well then, come the dawn, we shall unleash monsters.
All right. I'm going to just... I'm concerned that I've been more obtuse about something than I should have, so I'm going to type something into the Slack.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Wow, that was quick.
I misspelled the second one, but you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that you've been exposed to it enough that someone in the party will probably pick up on the fact that Rutamara is Haramathur spelled backwards.
I like how we've each heard all of those words like 30 times in this conversation, and then seeing them written out next to each other, we all immediately understand.
So, okay. So we've got a god whose name is spelled backwards is something very bad.
And when he raises his head, all the shit comes apart.
We've got a mirror universe where people talk backwards.
Yeah.
And we've got a cracked mirror as part of a prophecy.
Oh.
Everything here seems to have a lot of elaborate duality symbolism attached to it. Again, keeping with the lost inspiration.
I'm still thinking we're in like some sort of parallel timeline somehow. Like as soon as that Chimera card showed up, we hopped over.
Yeah. All right.
And I could swear it was the Berenstain Bugbears.
Oh, deep cut.
So we're gonna finish the plan and enact it next session. Here's the closing. So I think the first step in that is probably going to the recombination chamber to start making monsters, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
I thought going to the holding cell.
Going to the holding cells.
I was going to say going to the reactor and figuring out if we can make a nuke.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, split up.
How about this? The last place where we were, we're still there, right, is in the room with all the screens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at the map, which is displayed on the wall, and had helpfully pointed out where the 3 locations not marked on the map are. Ash, as pulls back from the map, because you are a relic folk, and we've sort of established this, that the artisan mark is a very significant thing, and you've noted that has an artisan mark before, you can't help but notice when he pulls back, that mark is different. It's the silhouette of a chimera.
Oh boy.
That's where we'll end the episode.
That's it this week for the Chimera. Our theme music is Hoof, Heart, and Hiss by Matt Weber. You can find a link to more of Matt's work and any other music used in this episode in the show notes. You can also find us online at thechimera.space or on Twitter and Facebook at ChimeraPod. If you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or just telling your friends. Join us back here in 2 weeks for the next episode, and thanks for listening.